I am super excited about what's in this box. So what you were looking at right here is made by a company called Allio. I believe that's how you say that, Allio. And this one is the bullet roaster. It took a while to get this thing. Ordered it and waited months. So I don't know if that's going to continue. I am in the United States, so it may be faster in the other countries that sell Allio. I don't know. But the Allio Bullet, and this is the R2 Pro. All right, so this is this one was the nicest one, and it's supposed to have the newer cooling tray and everything. And the reason is because of the technology that it uses to cook the beans, or roast the beans. By the way, while I'm opening this, quick trivia fact: coffee is not a bean. Coffee is the seed out of a cherry. If you didn't know that, well, now you do. The more you know, right? A couple things you need to know before you buy one of these. One is that it could take a while to get to you, and two, you can't just walk up and plug this into your regular outlet in your house. This is actually 220. You can't get a 110 version. It's 220, and not only is it 220, it has a special plug, and I'm going to show you the adapter and everything you need for that here in just a second. I have the circuit that's dedicated for this machine on a 30 amp breaker. I think that might be overkill. Let's see if it has an amperage on here. It says 220 volt. I'm sure it'll have something in there that tells me the amperage, but I don't think it's 30. Get this cool, almost iPhone-like cover in there. Pro. Let you know you're legit. And one of the things right out of the gate you'll notice is the plug type. I'm going to bring this over to the camera and show it to you. It has a flat horizontal blade and a vertical blade instead of two vertical blades. Looks like that. And there is an adapter that you will need to use this with your heavy duty extension cord, or I have to use extension cord in my case because the plug is over there, and I'm gonna set the machine up over here, so I've got a really heavy duty extension cord. But if you're plugging directly into the wall, you'll either need to buy an outlet that looks like that, or if you're using a standard 220 outlet, then you'll need an adapter, and we'll show you that next. And I bought this off of Amazon. I'll put a link for this adapter down below in the video description, but this is what it looks like. I'll go ahead and pop that open and let you see it. So if you look on this end, you've got your standard 220 plug that almost everybody's used to seeing, which is what is on the end of my extension cord. And then this, which you'll notice it has the one horizontal and the one vertical for that plug. Just to make sure, yep, it works. And then on the other end of this cord, plugs into the machine with this type of plug right here, which is an AL501. And then you can see my heavy duty cord here uses this end here, and we just plug this bad boy in like that. So if you have that type of plug on your wall, or receptacle on your wall, then this adapter here from Amazon will do a direct fit. So here we go. Got a nice big piece of foam. Looks like a barrel in there. Right out of the gate, I'm a little disappointed in myself. Well, it's not like you find these kinds of things out on camera all the time, but you don't need to buy that adapter because look at that. It came with one. So, scratch everything I just told you about that adapter. Oh, well, it's too late to get my money back from Amazon. Oh, well, the things you find out, right? All right, let's get this thing out of here. Be very careful. not to break something. This thing's made out of metal, so it's very heavy. I think I'm going to set it on the floor and then pick it up that way so I don't break something. There it is. The Bullet roaster. I'll bring the camera over here and show you guys stuff here in just a second. But how cool is that? There's even a little cooling fan right there on the front. This must be where you load in the beans. All right, next. Looks like we have, I believe those are coffee bags. You gotta be kidding me. These look real familiar because we're filling these all the time. Yeah, look at that. It's your first coffee bags. They say Allio on one side, and then you can put your name in the roast on the other. And they got a little heat seal right here on the top with the Ziploc internal bag and the one-way degas valve. Thank you, Allio. I can't sell these on my website, obviously, but they'll be cool to have for test batches. I think that's what it's for, so you can document your own test batches. And then, of course, inside here, we have our quick guide. So we're going to be needing that here in just a second. Next on our list, looks like we got a little Allio bag here. So let's see what's in that. It's kind of like Christmas. Christmas with a coffee roaster. Oh, neat. It's a tool set. Look at that. So I assume these are all the different drivers that you need to work on the Allio. That looks to be like a scrubber pad of some kind, like a Brillo pad, so don't want to throw that away. This is a little tag that says pull to empty, so I'm guessing that goes back here on the back somewhere. Yep, there's a little, right here on the butt of it, there's a little spot. I think this probably hooks in that. Pull to empty. Sucker's heavy. Okay, and then inside here, we've got, oh, really cool. Looks like some hardware. This must be a stopper for here after you've added, yeah. So after you've added your coffee beans, you put this stopper on till you're ready to put the funnel back on. And then it looks like we've got, this has to be for opening the door. A little door opening knob. The sucker's weighted. So I think it's weighted to keep that closed. So pretty sure that's what that is. And then we have, this appears to be our tester or our coffee bean. This is where we check the beans as we cook them. Yep, this little guy. So this slides in the front. Sampler, you pull the beans out, pull a sample out, check them for doneness. So that's got to be what that's for. And this is obviously the hardware to hold all that together. So don't want to lose any of that. And then this, I believe, is the data cable to connect your Allio to your computer, because you get software that you get to use with this. All right. So here is the cooling tray, and it doesn't appear that I got the new one with the stir. I think I'm supposed to get that, so I need to reach back out to them and find out what status is. Maybe that comes to me after they become available again, I think, what the deal is. But here is the cooling tray. This goes in here, and then there is a fan right there that is going to pull cool air across the beans. You just stir them. I believe the new one's supposed to have an arm in here that stirs, and I think I was guaranteed to get one of those with my purchase. So you can bet I'll be checking in on that to see if that's coming in the future. So we'll go ahead and remove some of this tape. All right, so our cooling bin goes under here. Don't worry, I'm going to read the instructions before I fire this thing up, trust me. All right, this right here looks like our fill hopper. So if I'm guessing, yeah, it's got a slot right there. It fits over this little apparatus inside. There it goes. Fill it up with beans. And then it looks like this is the control panel that you see on the internet. Has all the digital readouts. Yeah, that's exactly what that is. And this must be where you plug in. There's a light. There's where you plug in your USB to go to your computer. So I'm going to go ahead and I always love removing the plastic on these things. This is fun. Something about the sound it makes and seeing that brand new shiny plastic. This plugs in here. Yeah, there's a set screw. Let me get the camera closer. Y'all are not seeing this. There's a little tab here and a tab here, and this tab hooks in that tab, and you just come up, and it's actually magnetized. It literally magnetized itself. Look at that. I can pull the magnet loose, and off it comes. I mean, they really did think of a lot. That's nifty. Magnetized. So I'm thinking one of these drivers that I have here will probably screw that tight. I'm gonna try this one here. And indeed it did. So that firmed this up on here. So there's a little screw back here that will keep that in place. So let me take you around to the side here. So there's the cooling bin, and it has a plug-in here. And then if you look, there's some plug-ins right there on the side. So if you look here, you can see there's a cooling fan in there. And the chaff collector has got to be back here because it says pull. So there's a way this comes off, I assume, to collect chaff off the back of the machine. There's a handhold here, and I don't want to break it, so there's a trap door down there. Okay, that must be the designers. Okay, so that's a filter for the cooling tray. Funnel, bean chute plug, pull tab, power cable, the trier. Okay, I didn't know those were called triers. I've been roasting coffee quite a while. So it's got speakers, nifty, fan drum function. I just love how they got everything outlined in here before starting to roast. All right, we need to register and connect your bullet to activate your 2-year warranty. Oh, that's how you remove the back. Clean it after every 30 kilograms, chaff filter 2 to 3 kilograms, exhaust pipe once a year. Okay, so we know by looking at this that the trier, this I'll bet you goes on here like this. What you bet? Yep, and that only goes in so far. So this now has to go right here. We don't want to cross thread it. Beautiful. There's what dumps our coffee. How about them apples? That's neat. Okay, for the trier, I have multiple pieces here. So what I'm wondering is it's showing the trier just has one piece of all thread, and I'm guessing there's this little gasket probably goes between. Let's see, does that go here and here? No. So this all thread just goes in here, Yep. And this screws on here. There we go. Get that nice and tight. Look at that little trier. Notches here and here, and then this little knob right here on top of it fits right in there when you want to pull a bean sample. You want to dump the bean sample back out, turn it around, and then the little detent goes under the bottom side there. So there is the assembled front of the Allio. Still gotta get that pesky plastic off. That's gonna annoy me. That's okay. We're gonna get it off. All right, so we learned a second ago too that the Brillo pad, that I called a Brillo pad, wasn't a Brillo pad. It in fact is a filter that sits right here. So this must be a spare Brillo pad filter. All right, so we're gonna put this back here. We're gonna leave this alone, doesn't need to. We're gonna put our cooling tray back in. And then the cooling tray is just gonna slide underneath the open mouth of the roaster, like so. It doesn't say which one of these, I don't think, we have to plug in the cooling tray. Oh, I know what the other plug's for, y'all. It's for the agitator, I think, for the other cooling tray, which I'm supposed to be getting. Yeah, it's gotta be. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be emailing them tomorrow. Say, hey, where's my stirring cooling tray? The one I was supposed to get. Oh, you can't really mess it up. I don't know if y'all can see that. Well, I guess you could mess it up. That only has 3 pins in the end of it. And that's a 3-pin plug. That's a 4-pin plug. So, yeah, you really, hypothetically, should not be able to mess that up. So we push this in here. And yep, there's our 3 pins in. And we just screw that tight. Not too tight. There we go. All right, so our cooling tray is installed. That was pretty self-explanatory. Exclamatory? No, explanatory. I knew better. We need to take this plug that we had a second ago, this end right here, other end. There we go. And the on-off switch is over here. So we'll hit the switch, see if anything happens up here. Look at that. How cool. Oh, she talks to you. We probably should turn it off. Yeah, we're not ready to roast anything yet. Holy cow. That's cool. Well, let's gather some trash. Let's clean up. Sounds like something space age. Let's see if these remove these screws. Yep, they sure do. I wonder if this will allow me to get the plastic off the face of the machine. Because we don't need plastic on here. These things get warm and we don't want melted plastic all over the front. Look at that. All right, we'll put the screws right back. So these screws, the plastic went under the screws. That definitely would have been annoying for a while. All right, so first things first, we are going to get our ventilation situation, and I'll show you guys what I did from our other roaster that used to sit here, which was a Baymore. It was our very first roaster, actually. This little gem here is a regular pellet stove pipe. We use that on our airbed roaster sitting over there. And then I've put an inline fan here. It has a controller here. You can hear that, it's pulling a draft. And that goes over here to basically a floor register. Kind of made a snorkel out of it. You can see we've roasted quite a bit of beans on it. It does the job. And I assume that this needs to pull the exhaust from here, but it's not supposed to come in contact with it. So I've got to figure out how to kind of suspend that here and let it pull smoke and stuff out of the building. So. By the way, we've got to hook this up so we can register the warranty. So anyway, get this out and get the laptop fired up. Definitely do not want to sleep on a warranty on something that costs this much. Just an FYI, if you guys are looking to buy one of these, $5 grand. They're not cheap. But you get an empty carrying case. And a pull to empty tab. Come on now. So I'm going to go ahead and install that back here. Like thread in a keychain. There we go. So we got our pull to empty tab. So how far do I pull it? I don't know. When I pulled it. Now what? Oh, huh. Pulls out just like that. This is our chaff collector. All right, so we pull that. Look at that. Got a little filter basket. Thing is neat. And I guess all our chaff goes in there. So, and then down here on the bottom, there's our chaff trap door. So, oh yeah, chaff comes in here. And then this little screen here keeps it from going into the fan. So we put that in here. Now, we just, so this is you just pull this and pull straight out. Yep. All right. Y'all don't judge me too harshly. This is just temporary. But I got the kind of taped to a broom handle just to grab the smoke. Don't worry, we're going to put a permanent fix. See that bracket up there? I'm going to put an L bracket that comes out and allows this pipe to basically hang directly above that outlet on the back of the bullet. But next on the list, it says before you fire up your machine, you want to check the drum. We did that. We want to make sure we have ventilation. We did that. And now we want to register it for 2-year warranty. And to do that, we have to install the roast time software on our PC. So let's get that done, and we'll come back when we're ready to rock and roll. So we've got the registration done. I don't know if I'm supposed to power it on or not, so let me just power it on. So I'm waiting. It says installing dependencies. Do you want to allow this app to make changes on your device? So you guys are going to see me do this. If I'm making a mistake, you're going to see me do it. Alright, it says the dependencies have been installed successfully. It is now relaunching the software. Alright, so I'm going to log in. I'll come back as soon as I'm logged in. Alright, I logged in. It's a success. Updates are ready. Please restart roast time. Okay. Okay, so we got an icon on the desktop here. Gonna click on that. Reloading. This looks like it's pushing some updates. Let's see here. We don't want public networks, so private only. Alright, so we're connected. It says start roasting to build your history. So we're going to go to the roasting page. And guys, I don't know what I'm doing here, so let's just, it says we have to do 3 roasts to season the drum. So it says preheat your roaster to begin. Recipes. Stashed recipes. There we go. Let's start this one. I stashed this one, 150 gram sample from Rob Hoos. Let's do that. All right, it's going to preheat my roaster to 392.
Heating up.
I'll be dipped. Huh. Too easy. All right, so looky here, guys and gals. Saying it's preheating. And if you watch the controls there, well, you can't see that because of the camera, dadgummit. But it is preheating. It shows you even the seconds it's taking for it to preheat. So it's preheating. I guess this thing's going to tell me when to drop the beans in. I've got 150 gram sample laid out in that bowl right there. Some Costa Rican beans. Oh, look at that, y'all. There's the graph. It's actually showing. So you click this little chef's hat to go to your stored recipes, and you click on the thing that looks like an oven right there to see the graph. While I'm waiting on that, let me see if there's anything on here where I can activate my warranty. I'll come back and record again when we're ready to dump the beans. It says ready to roast. Okay, so charge the drum. Here we go.
Roasting started.
So it detects the beans are in there, and now the drum sped up. That is too cool, y'all. Look at that. And now the heat curve starts on the beans here. This is crazy, y'all. I mean, the technology that this thing has packed in it is something else. So this here shows, I guess, let's see here. Rate of rise, the bean temperature, and the total time they've been in the roast is up there at the top. The smells in here are so delicious, y'all. As you can see, the beans are now changing color. We're at 175 degree bean temp. I'm gonna go to the back of the machine and see if I can see the smoke or any type of smoke coming out back here. Oh, you can definitely feel the heat coming off of that right there. This is really cool, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, I'm enjoying this. Wow, it's got a dead man switch. It wants to know if you're actually here doing something or if you've left the machine alone. It'll kill the roast. It says watch, I'll be dipped. So that light started flashing. It says push the switch, anything. And I can hear the beans cracking. That's pretty dang cool. Let's just see what happens if I dump it.
Roasting finished.
I'll be dipped. So the cooling fan is now pulling air across the beans. It's dumping the beans out into the tray. Pull you all over here, let you see. Look at that. Look at that. Cooling down the roaster. How cool is that? Let me grab a spoon. We're cooling down the roaster. And the drum is turning extremely slow. And the beans are done. They're really pretty too, look at that. Wow. Oh, and there's some chaff that got collected. So that's what those filters are for. It's a shame I gotta throw these away. I don't like that, but we've also got to season the drum. So, I'll be. Well, while this thing cools down, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. I gotta say that was not very hard. First roast on the Allio Bullet R2 Pro. Very cool. Software is pretty intuitive too. Like I said, I've never touched this before. So all the errors, you got to see me do those errors. I'm going to wrap up for tonight because it's late. And come back and do 2 more batches and get it all seasoned up. And then I've got a couple batches to do for a friend. Alright. Thank y'all for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, think about subscribing to Monderosa Coffee Company. We got way more cool content coming. God bless. Y'all have a great one. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.